Hey guys, I'm back with some more on my craft room. I thought I would start breaking it down into several different videos. Today we're going to do paper organization, and if you haven't seen the entire craft room tour, make sure you click the link up above and that will take you to that video if you wanted to start there. Today I use lots of different plastic, almost looks like magazine holders, but they're 12 by 12 to help organize my paper, and I'm going to go into some depth today about how I do that, how I label them, and just the ways that I organize the paper. And then, of course, I will link below all of these different things that we're using so that if you want to purchase any that can help support my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. So for this first part of the video, we're just going to go through and I'm going to kind of show you how I organize. You'll notice that I label things. I tend to organize based on company because I like to be in challenges and just have all of the same matching stuff together. So I am mainly a card maker, but I also scrapbook on the side for my family. So I'll have a couple of different things from there. This is mostly my scrapbooking section. Then I do my 12 by 12 colored paper by American Crafts in this section. Next are my 8.5 by 11 papers, and they are organized by company. I also have some of my specialty metallic papers on this row. This is definitely a heavily used card area. I want you to notice the extra space by 4 of these in a calyx unit. So there's enough extra space that if you had some extra cardstock or something that you wanted to put there, you would definitely be able to squeeze in a few paper packs. In this section, I have some more 8.5 by 11, my scraps, foil, flock, and then paper packs that I have not used yet. I included pictures of the two main things I'm using here, Storage Studios paper holders and paper files, so that you could see what these look like up close. And we'll go over how I use these in just a moment. Let's start with the paper holder. My main qualms about this were the fact that it has these plastic tabs at the bottom, and as you can see, they can flip up on the inside. When I was storing my paper directly in here without a paper file, I wanted to make sure that that would not catch on the paper. So what I did was take some strong, heavy-duty Scotch tape, and I put it right on the bottom just to cover those areas up and keep them smooth. So you can see that one stripe of this fits perfectly along the bottom. If you decide you want to take it out, you just pull it up or pull it back down. I don't do this on the ones where I'm storing everything in a paper file, but buying a lot of paper files is expensive. So I want to have an option to use this without the paper file if at all possible. I'm going to show you how I do some different sections. We're starting with all of my scrapbook paper, and you'll see that sometimes I do it in multiple things. So I've got a paper file in the front. This is an open paper pack that I used most of and wanted to keep the ephemera and everything together. So I put it in a paper file. Sometimes when I've got a paper pack, even if I've started using it, if the plastic is good and I can get it back in easily, I will just use that same plastic that it came in, and that works fine for this too. But in this file, I do try to keep most everything in some type of plastic, which means I probably didn't tape the bottom of this one. The other thing I wanted to show you is that in a paper pack, you'll have that tab of plastic on the top, and it does just fold down to fit in the calyx unit. If you don't want to fold it down, then you need to put everything in a paper file. The other thing that fits great in these, I try to keep my thickers that match a set together. They are a little bit tall for the calyx unit, so I tend to spread them out slightly, and that allows them to be just a little bit shorter and fit perfectly. With my American Crafts, it came in these cardboard, I don't know what you would call them, cardboard containers. So I just tore off the edge where I could see and then left them in these containers so that they stay nice and neat throughout. See in this next shot, 3 of those packs fit perfectly in one of these paper storage studios. So you can fit 3 big American Crafts in there. This is my paper that's just standalone. So I do use tape at the bottom of this to keep the edges from getting torn up. Next is a set where I use mostly the paper files, partly because it just keeps these extra pieces. Whenever I'm dealing with metallic, it's expensive paper and I love keeping all the little pieces because sometimes you just need a teeny tiny detail. So in this set, I've got silver and gold and holographic cardstock. And I still have enough room in this paper file to put two 6x6s in the front. And I do that just so that I can keep up with metallic paper all in one place. So that's three full paper files and two 6x6s in that pack. Next, we'll look at how I'm storing 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You'll notice there's plenty of room in the front of these because these are 12-inch containers to put something else if you want to. I generally leave my colored cardstock in its own package because I like to be able to see the colors from the side and quickly look at what I have in that brand. Other people will put these in paper files, and I think that's perfectly fine. I just know that it's more of an expense and it requires a little bit more effort to see what is in that actual pack. With these nice 8.5 by 11 packs, I tend to put my scraps in here with it just so I know what they coordinate with and can keep up with other pieces of that same color. But I do have a whole section of scraps that I will show you in the next little bit. I have the most of the Gina K cardstock, and it has a different type of holder. So how I labeled these, it has a little tab that's plastic on the top of each of its packs. So I actually labeled the top with the color just so if I'm matching ink pads or something like that, that I can see it a little bit better. And I just used my basic labeler. I will link below to a labeler that I really love and am wanting, but mine does not have any symbols or anything like that. So I have to just do letters. And for now, that's working just fine. But you'll see I keep everything in rainbow order and put them all back like this, and then I can flip through the colors at the top if I need to. Next is scraps. I have seen many different ways of doing this, but my favorite so far is to put my scraps in paper files. So I tend to organize by color and I use these so I start with black and white, grays, that kind of thing, so that at least it's like a color family of scraps so that I know if I'm looking for a black scrap, that's the paper file that I pull out. And then I go by and do these, of course, in rainbow order, as you can tell. Most of my scrapbook room is in rainbow order. But that just helps me to locate things. If it's my nice 8.5 by 11 card paper, a lot of times I will just put that right back in the pack that I have. But if it's miscellaneous and I don't know what it goes to, I just put it in these packs. The last two folders in this are a little bit different. So I started with some specialty paper. I feel like if I'm looking for these, I'm not looking for the color family. I'm looking for the specific type of paper, so I kept it separate. And my last one is leftover pieces of 12 by 12 patterned paper, especially if I've used most of the pack and I don't want to keep a separate pack of this available. I just put it all in this area. My next paper holder is used to hold foils, flocks, and extra pieces of foil that can be used later. I have several different types of foil, so I try to keep things that are similar together. So this first one, I've even got a few little um, toner sheets in there so that I can make some other things. My flock is very tall, so deco foil in general, those packs are so tall, still fits in this. You can see it's barely, but you may have to fold the piece of plastic over, or you may have to kind of put those slightly to the side to fit in this and in your calyx unit. I also use a paper storage just for extra pieces of foil. I have not come up with my ideal way of storing these yet, but this is working for now. The last paper file in this section is for backgrounds, watercolor, alcohol inks, things that I've made and I just haven't used yet, but I want to keep them around in case I come up with a way to use them. So I also keep little small things of watercolor paper in there just to keep it more organized. The last section that I use is called my project queue, and I tend to put everything that I buy that I want to use on Instagram or YouTube in a section because I was getting to the point where I'd buy something and forget that I hadn't used it yet. And it's nice to use things while they're relevant. So this has really helped me keep a little bit more organized. And I just throw it in there, get it already organized in its stamp storage pockets, but that's organization for another day. Pop these up here so you can see them. It definitely helps me if you will subscribe, like this video, and of course click through the links if you're wanting to buy any of these products. That just helps me run this channel and my blog. I hope to see you again soon, and I will be putting out more organization videos over the next couple months. Thanks so much. Have a great day.